call the Public Works Committee, meeting to order. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. Could we please stand, for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members present would be Chuck from MSA, Gunther, Director of Public Works, Caleb Garnes, myself, Brandon Quinn. And we'll minutes, next item on the agenda is minutes for May 15th and May 28th. What's the pleasure of this committee?
Move to adopt the minutes as submitted.
Brandon Crone, second.
Motion made and seconded to adopt the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Public comment, 2 minutes per on agenda items, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic.
And it does seem like we have a lot of people, so I am gonna be keeping the timer on my watch just to help out, make sure we keep everyone on time.
Anybody wish to give a public comment?
I'll start it out.
Please state your name and address and
Deb Kohler, 470 Forest Drive. So I know that we will be reviewing the results of the core survey tonight and also discussing the dog park location. But I want to capture some of the results of the survey that pertain to the dog park. So the results of the survey is 52.07% said no to a dog park in the village. 45.87 said yes. Of the people that said yes, the locations were LeGrander, 21.9%, Village Park, 9.92%, and Veterans Park, 7.44%. Park usage is as follows. Village frequently is 34.3%, sometimes is 31.82%. Veterans is frequently 24.3%, sometimes 30.17%. LeGranger's disc golf is frequently 4.55% and sometimes 14.05%. So top desires are splash pad, playground, inclusive play, multi-use pedestrian trails. Dog park was in the lower half of desires for the parks, and underserved people felt were seniors, adults, and high school youth. Many people's comments were about protecting the area by the river, no dog park, and not putting dogs ahead of the kids using land outside of the village. It's obvious that a dog park isn't wanted in our existing village parks. We need to work with the township and our landowners to find a suitable piece of land for a dog park. I leave with this comment from the core survey that isn't mine. With the possibility of less tubing, maybe we born and raised residents could actually utilize the village park, enjoy water and scenery. Please do not even think of bringing a dog park down in the village park. Please make better use of the river, develop a better park picnic area. So I think it's time that we look for somewhere else for the dog park, and let's look at developing a usable park along the river and upgrading our current parks. Thank you.
Perfect.
thanks, Deb. Anyone else wish to give public comment?
My name is Adam Main and I live at 456 Bruce Larson Way, and I'm here on behalf of Winston Prairie Development. My family moved to Somerset at the end of last August. We love our neighborhood, the community, and our new home. However, there are some issues with the developer. The developer is leaving our new neighborhood in limbo. As far as we're aware, there is a stop order in effect. When will the development continue, if at all? We have no control over our HOA until the development is completed. This means we have to continue to have more money going out than coming in. There is no one willing to explain why or where this money is coming from to pay for the landscaping contract that we're under right now. Homeowners have absolutely no say in what happens. Will this go on for months or years? We also have some other public safety issues. As it stands, we do not have any speed limit signs or a sign to warn drivers that Bruce Larson Way is a dead end. Drivers speed through the neighborhood and come to a sudden stop at the end of the road. Some drivers keep their cars idling and hang out at the end of the road in front of residents' homes as well. We also have a large number of Minnesotans that like to come over and look for gravel or rocks at the end, and they do it at all hours of the day, using flashlights and all. In conclusion, we'd like to have some answers, given the realm of the limbo of our development, as it maintained, or how is it maintained? Is our development going to continue? Can you please have the developer or Capstone complete the area by the high school before continuing on? Thank you for your time.
I'll just respond. A contract was needed with the school district because there's some encroachment on their property. That was signed yesterday.
Okay.
I expect some movement this week, on the entrance and then the sidewalk signs, everything, the ponds.
Okay.
So we do have contracts rolling right now, so you're gonna start seeing some improvements.
And
And I did
our
forget,
attorney did issue some letters about stuff that needed to be done, things of that nature.
and I did forget to mention about the ponds and the erosion happening.
Yeah, and those are all addressed on our punch list, and I spoke to the contractor today, and he's expected to get in there as quickly as possible to start. So,
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
yep, thanks for bringing it to our
Yeah.
attention.
Anyone else?
My name is Carrie Brower. I'm here on behalf of the Somerset Youth Hockey Association. Just wanted to address the dog park specifically at Veterans Park. We are in no way, shape or form against the dog park. We just have some concerns with it being so close to the hockey rink. We've done some research on neighboring dog parks, and they're not typically in residential neighborhoods or near playgrounds or ball fields. And with that baseball field being over there and that being a busy area, we have concerns just with it being so close. We, as the Hockey Association, have a camp going on right now. We have 75 kids in it. We do use that area a lot for outdoor activities, training, dry land. It is used a lot. So putting a dog park there would really limit the area that we have for that. But yeah, even with just the baseball games, it's just a busy area, and having the kids and dogs so close together, we think is not beneficial for us as a hockey association or the baseball, so. All I got.
Thanks, Carrie. Anyone else who would like to give public comment tonight?
Dave Wallner, 490 Forest Drive, Somerset. My question I see is on the agenda later with the drainage ponds. I did address the school board at the works meeting last Monday. And in reference to the drainage pond on the northeast corner of the school property up there, not having a bench. If you want to listen to the board minutes in the first 16 to 18 minutes, you'll hear Margaret Johnson say that it's not, doesn't have a bench, was maybe built wrong, maybe washed out, they don't know. But you'll hear that in the meeting. And that was my question, it has been for 2 years, is who on the village side does our inspections, who is accountable? I mean, if we're gonna improve as a community, we have to have accountability. And on the planning commission, we never saw any of these plans, any of the plans for the school. And I think that the oversight of each committee that would review them is important. So that we do know what's going on. But again, I do think that we need to be involved up there with it. And I know that they have Bronner Tech for a third party for inspections, Wold Architects, and another group up there in KB, I don't know who they are. But if you listen to the school board, it's pretty interesting. You'll hear them say it exactly at that public works meeting. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thanks, Dave. Have a chance. Anybody online? Nobody online at all?
John Parnell, here on behalf of Impact Sports Academy located at 500 County Road Double B here in Somerset. Know we were here last month to have some discussions around field usage. Just want to provide an update to the board that I have spoken with the association, both baseball and softball, to talk about some proposed dates in August for field utilization, and also talk to them about putting the plan in place for potentially for 2025. No definitive plans in place. Really, they asked for today is just to revisit those 4 days that we discussed last month and look at an opportunity of what 2025 might look like and what that might mean for the village. So just a quick update for you all. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks, Sean. Anyone else like to give public comment here tonight before we start our deliberations? Anybody on the line? Hearing none, we'll close public comment. Next item on the agenda is project updates, general update on active projects.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So the TID 5 lift station and utility extension down by the interchange there. We had a kickoff meeting today. In that regard. And we've surveyors will be out. This week or early next week, I can't remember, but we have the surveyor schedules. He'll be out there, I think tomorrow. And he's got to pick up, some of the items down by the new lift station and the corridor for the forest main. We're providing some numbers for your fiscal folks. And we anticipate having a 30% design meeting with your staff. June 9th. So, that'll have the kind of the rough layout, concept, pump sizes, that sort of thing. So we'll be able to report verbally on that on the 10th, how that 30% plan went and some of the features there.
July 9th.
Yeah, I'm sorry, July 9th.
Started checking back in my.
Summer's going fast.
June's gone.
Summer's going fast, so, yes, and, Bob had a good suggestion about using the old generator that was recently replaced at the facility and use it out there at the station. So
Yeah.
that'll probably save you $100,000 right there.
Good, we'll need it.
The water storage needs study, in the next couple of weeks. We will be having an inspector out there to climb the tower, and we're working on assessing that as to whether or not you need a new tower and if, and where to place that new tower if you do.
Will that be done by July's meeting?
Yeah.
I mean, the report, because you were hoping that the report was gonna be ready in July for the needs assessment.
Yeah, I could get, look,
Why does he have to crawl up there? I mean, I think, is that an extra charge? Because I know for me,
No, it was
I'm not really on the fence on whether or not, we need to repaint it or not. I mean, I think we need to
just to
replace
see
it.
if anything's changed or not. I mean, it's just something that, it's in our work scope.
Okay.
It's not extra or anything. It's not extra. Yeah, so I was just looking here at the work order and I guess
Last month with Brad Stadinsky, we said that we would really encourage that it be done after we approve the 14.5. That it be done with the July deadline. I just want to.
I don't see that being an issue, but I will follow up on that and have a better answer for you at the board.
Yeah, and I don't think I think it was a soft commit.
That's not what you approved as their motion here just a minute ago. To approve the minutes. Okay,
Okay, so-
impact needs.
Just a second, I want to write myself a note. So I've got probably a 95% draft. I've been working on the court plan now that survey's done. It's ready for your input. I just sent it to you a couple hours ago, so I don't anticipate, you commenting now, but it's in your hands, the court, and so I've been kind of waiting on some of the other information on that water study before completing the need survey, and so that's why I brought up that quote. Like, I've got my own, I don't know if you saw that too, I forwarded a memo, based on the survey results, what I saw in the data. And so I can bring that, or we can talk about that when we get to that agenda.
Is that gonna be brought forth on this, impact needs? Is that what you're saying?
No, but it's interrelated with some of the trails.
Some of that would be part of the impact though, right?
Only the trails, because that you don't do needs on park stuff.
Okay,
What happened there, it was, you used to, but then when there was a lawsuit and then the sewer and the park stuff was thrown in. We don't want to like needs on those. So I talked about the comprehensive plan,
the impact needs assessment is still on task to be completed in July or?
yeah. And assuming I get the results of the water, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I don't. It may not be completed, but you'll have a 90% draft or whatever, so it'll be close. Let's see. Pineville, I believe they're gonna start utility work sometime mid-month. So it's going a little bit slower than I think they anticipated. I don't know if it's the water or just the sheer amount of work that they got to do out there. It's
a lot of trees to move.
yeah, it's a lot of trees to move.
A lot of rain to move.
It's been since 1982, the wettest spring we've had on record, and since 1982. Can't grow grass now. It's either flooded out or you're in trouble.
Right,
Linesap Prairie, like Bob mentioned, that is moving, the cities or the villages stepping in and making that happen, so. That's good. River Health, we have met out there with residents to talk over some of the proposed revisions that the developers engineered. Suggested. The neighbors weren't.
was there an original plan on that? Cause I thought it was pretty much shovel ready to go and get done.
Yeah, but then when they started putting houses in, the landscape changed.
So that all got.
It just, yeah, there's just some water that's kind of shedding through those backyards that is causing problems.
Right, but it's been causing problems for a while.
Yeah.
That's why we decided that as a board that we were gonna, take that over and get it done and before the last meeting. And now we're talking about it a month later. Did it have to get re-engineered for some?
It's getting re-engineered because the residents don't like it.
Okay,
And we don't wanna do something that, that's just gonna have to be done again. And, so we're trying to develop a solution that we have buy-in from some of these neighbors. So we just do it once and everybody's as happy as can be.
right.
It's never gonna be the perfect solution, it's difficult when you're constrained by drainage and utility easements and fencing
Right.
and landscaping and irrigation system, so. It's a work in progress. There'll be another meeting next week with the residents. There's a couple other concepts
Do you know when that meeting is gonna be next week?
I don't think we have anything firm yet, right?
Pardon?
We don't have anything firmed up yet. We've got
Well,
a local
we got a board
resident.
meeting next week too, and they'll show up at a board meeting going, what's going on? Why it's.
Well, they'll know what's going on. They've been out there.
Yeah,
And then-
that's what I'm
and then-
wondering.
And,
Yeah, I talked to Tasia about it, Tasia and Marcus, and they said that they went out there, they saw the plan, they didn't like the plan. They said they have to go back and come up with a new plan. They understand coming up with a new plan takes a bit of time, but. It seems like they're very understanding. I drove by with the meeting, what's going on, so it looked like everyone seemed civil at the time, so.
Good.
so a day or two ago, they developed a revised plan. They sent it to us. We offered some other suggestions we thought may be a better solution that would be more, that the residents would be more receptive to. And so we gave them those comments and they tweaked it again. And now it's a matter of Tasia, so kind of our local having her kind of coordinate the neighborhood and then us come out there, because, you know, whenever they can meet, we'll be out there. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, the comment I had heard was they are trying to be as minimally invasive as possible, and I think the comments from the. Neighborhood were at that times past, go ahead and get in there, get it done, do what needs to be done, so.
Yeah.
I think they came in a little light-handed, and I think the. Street brought a little bit more heavy-handed approach.
And, you know, the balancing act is there's no perfect solution that the residents are gonna love. But something's gotta be done, and so they, you know, so it's like, you know, it's a. Sort of a give and take, you know, figure out what the best solution is for the current situation.
And the good thing is we have implemented ordinances to protect us from this kind of stuff, you know, we have certain triggers in place now, so. They can't get their certificate C of occupancy. So. Hopefully
On, based on the grading plan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And when was that put into effect?
So that was, geez, that was just right.
Last fall, wasn't it?
Actually, no, that's like right around the last elections, not this last one, the one before that, so.
2 years ago?
Um,
Right after that. That's why I said last fall.
spring, somewhere in there, it's been a while. Just fall.
They're still approving them over in the wine shop.
That
Based on-
wine step was, you know, ahead of that, or
Pardon?
Based on whenever they issued the permit.
The ordinance,
When
they'd follow the ordinance. If the ordinance changed, though, right?
yeah, whatever permits are, it would be on the fee schedule. That's an added, the actual. Contracting of having that grade plan done costs a certain amount of money, so it has to be on the fee schedule.
Okay.
and then, let's see.
We'll keep chugging away on that one and just keep, you know, some of that stuff takes time, but it seems like you guys are making as fast as progress as you can.
Stormwater pond, other things you might noted in here. You had a meeting on
The
that.
drainage ponds, we're gonna talk about that later.
Okay. Commercial market analysis,
Yeah, those are ongoing, and
downtown.
I'm not real in the loop on that downtown concept and that commercial. I know that they were gonna forward to a couple concepts. I don't think I've seen them, but have you seen them yet?
No.
And so that's great. He was very close when I talked to him late last week, so.
When you're talking about downtown parcel, that's the corner lot? Any
That's-
question?
That's kind of long and short of it. Thank you.
That's all I got.
Okay, unfinished business. Outdated ordinances, Title 11, Chapter 3. We tabled 11.3.5 on cemeteries, rules and regulations. You mentioned about removing that in its entirety. Because we have no jurisdiction on that, but I think it probably makes sense for us to have some of this stuff in here. So that there can be some self-governance between the cemeteries that are in the jurisdiction of, or in the village limits, even though we don't have jurisdiction on. I would propose to, the recommendations, to eliminate the pets and the alcoholic beverages. If you guys have no issues with that. Because otherwise, anybody could basically go in and cut, remove, or, carry away any flowers or plants. Without specific language in the ordinance, at least we'd have that there.
Which specific?
11.3.5 C1. No person shall remove, damage, or carry away flowers, plants, vines, shrubs from a cemetery lot, except the owner of the cemetery lot. Without proper notice.
You're saying we're keep that one.
I'm saying we keep everything in place with the exception of the proposed changes to eliminate 7 and 11 and renumerate.
Sure. Brandon Crone second. Is that a motion?
I can make that as a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded under 11.3.5 to keep delete 7 and 11 from that section regarding pets being allowed in the cemetery and alcoholic beverages being allowed in the cemetery and remunerate accordingly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. 11. Chapter 6 tabled. That's defining a public nuisance. We tabled it based on looking at other municipalities. I have to be honest, I have tried, I haven't had a chance to find it on Richmond's website for their municipalities as far as what's a nuisance. Are you guys okay with tabling this until next month?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table until next month. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried, table till next month. 11.6.2. And 11.6.3. That's all tabled as well, isn't it?
We'll do this table and everything on 11.6.
My apologies. Okay, then Title 6, Chapter 4. With some proposed language changes from Brandon and also from Bob on here as well. Brandon, you want to cite over yours or?
Yeah, sure. My comments were basically, I kind of went through this and just thought I could shorten it up a little bit. 6.4.2 D describes a public nuisance for tree or shrub. I just said tree or shrubs that interfere with public use, are diseased or pose safety risks as opposed to the 4 sentences that are there. The next one I had was for boulevard or terrace areas. There's a lot of wording there. It could just boil down to land between the street, curb and sidewalks, or up to 4 feet from the curb where no sidewalk exists. Next one was the forest 6.4.3. Village board appoints a forester annually to manage tree and shrub policies. The forester can enter private property to inspect trees and shrubs as needed.
Do you want to back up and take these one at a time, or do you want to, or you want to do the thing as a whole?
I'm good so far.
Okay. All right, keep going. I am too. I'm not.
Yeah, I was just trying to short, because sometimes I read these and I'm like, this is a lot longer than it needs to be. But Bob, what was your comment on the forester? I think you had a,
We don't have.
We don't have one.
we don't have,
Is it even appointed? I mean, I don't even think there's an appointed one in the ordinance, is it?
in here it says forester or a village employee, I believe is what it said.
And they designate as a municipal employee or a citizen to perform the forester duties.
So Wisconsin statute has a chapter on that, chapter 27, right? Well, that's what it says in Wisconsin, chapter 27, chapter 27 of Wisconsin statutes. The question is, does the village board designate that, or it said may designate, doesn't mean we have to.
Who's performing that job now? Nobody?
Is that something?
Bob, what is something we see in other municipalities?
I'm not familiar with it.
Who takes care of nuisance trees on? You know, municipalities? Who would that fall under? Like say, a disease tree, say there's a disease tree and it's got ash borers in it or something.
That's normally in the weed commissioner, or, you know, that can come from me to say, your tree's gonna fall on the road, so you have to take care of it.
So should this fall, so should the forester be the weed commissioner? Can we roll that into it, or what are your?
No, because a forester should have some knowledge of trees. And that's more than inch. So I don't know if the UW extension has, they do have foresters on staff. I could check with them to see if they provide a service for municipalities.
Money for this spot. Intern or something?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay.
I can check into it. I
Uh-huh.
don't have any details.
Cause I mean, I don't, how big of an issue is this right now? I mean, really, like, I know we're just going through and touching these up, but I can't think of a whole lot of problem trees.
I would, well, there was one that dropped on HUD this last year from the church, you know. Remember that one come down, but, you know, there's other ones that I'm sure if you look at.
With that tree that it should have been, someone should have inspected it.
Probably.
So we're gonna pay someone to inspect trees, just go around and inspect the trees and say, well,
Well, if they fall on people's houses or injure somebody or fall in the middle of the road, you know, it might be something worthwhile for us to look at.
I don't, if the trees are on private, I think it says through here specifically.
On the
about
boulevard.
Private, on the boulevards, yeah.
I would
Uh,
leave it alone. It's covered in the state statute.
I think it's worth at least a conversation. Let's see if it's a fee or. specific to the cost.
You want to table it for the time being? Until we look at other municipalities?
I think we can move forward with, let's keep this, the verbiage I put in here, but let's see what we can do. If we're actually gonna follow through and have the intent of this, I think we should have someone who understands trees.
Okay, well, let's table that until we, and figure out what we follow through it. I'll move
Okay,
to table the forestry thing until we find out a little bit more
643.
about it, but I'm okay with your definitions of, you know, public nuisances under 642.
good. Next I had 645. Again, just shorten this up. Dutch elm disease and other fatal tree disease are public nuisances. The forester inspects trees for disease and pests and can abate nuisances by removal, treatment, or other necessary actions. Property owners must comply with abatement notices or face village intervention at their expense. So I guess that's another one that would fall underneath forester
Table.
people.
I agree. Caleb? Table?
Yep.
Next section I went over was 646, cost abatements and assessments, specifically A, just kind of clearing up this language. The village covers the cost of abating nuisances on public property. For private property, costs are assessed to the property owner and added to the tax roll if unpaid. Well, that seems like a lot of work to do that, but that's pretty much what it says right now. And a lot less words. Next. I
This
had,
has to do with, 646 also has to do with elm trees. The spraying of elm wood on a terrace strip between lot lines. You want to eliminate that?
yes. Pretty much it's saying if it's private, you gotta do it. If it's private, they gotta do it. If it's us, we gotta do it, no matter where it is, we gotta take care of it. And this,
Well, that, yeah, but that's, okay, that's fine. You okay with that?
next section, saw, was 647, trees prohibited and restricted species. Certain trees like, cottonwood and box elder are prohibited due to pest issues. Other species may be restricted or require approval before planting. Approved tree species must be planted properly and maintained to village standards. One, I think I might be one off of it.
It's kind of spelled out in section C there.
I
Yeah,
think I missed.
yeah, you're up at deleting an A and I
Yep,
don't think
I
that's.
think I meant the, yep.
The village shall cause the removal of such tree and report the full cost to the village clerk, who shall place a charge on his next tax roll. And that was the change you had put in before. About village covers the cost of abating nuisances will be charged to the, added to the tax roll under 6.4C, 6.4.6.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Are you?
Yep.
I think that was all, oh, I have a couple more.
Anything we can do for.
Deletion of the elm and the honey locust.
Oh, you want it-
Them deleted.
That's a good, but, buckthorn, where do we wanna, well, no one's planting buckthorn.
Yeah, I don't think they're
No.
planting that.
But if they're not taking care of it on their property and going to another.
So we got the.
That would be a nuisance tree then, wouldn't it?
Yep. Unlawfully planted trees, acceptable trees.
And we gotta look at the goat ordinance.
Telling you people are crazy about those dogs.
6.4.7. H, are we okay with that? The deletion of those two, I am. H. Page 7 of 10.
Can you add in the notes for this, that on top of tabling some of these, let's look at buckthorn in there. I wanna keep that in there and see where I can squeeze that, see where we can squeeze that in. I'm okay with, yeah.
Good with that.
6.4.9, site clearance and intersections.
Vegetation must not obstruct views at intersection or traffic signs. Property owners must remove obstructions or face village action. Yeah, there's a lot.
So you're looking to propose to delete may obstruct the view of operator of motor vehicles and, or to delete that whole thing and replace it with your language.
Yep, delete it all and just. Put in there what I have to say.
Well, I don't think we should eliminate language in there that says no person shall maintain, plan or permit to maintain any private or public premises situated on an intersection or alleys, any tree or hedge or shrub. I don't have a problem with you saying vegetation may not obstruct views, but I don't want anybody putting a shrub in on boulevards, do you? If you have a corner lot?
Isn't that, it's also there.
I mean, that language is in there.
Two or more streets, what does that mean? Does that mean you can't have you can have one as long as it's one street? I can have plants on. Street on one street, but if I had two, I couldn't have that, I guess I don't really. I don't get what that's trying to prevent.
Is saying the situation of an intersection of two or more streets, no person can put any hedge, shrub, or any other growth, which may obstruct the view of and what you're saying is vegetation must not obstruct.
Yeah, I'm basically saying any vegetation can't obstruct it.
It's kind of that sight triangle at an intersection.
Right.
Like, when you pull up, you can,
See both ways.
So no plant, no vegetation. So that would be obstructing.
Yeah.
That would not be allowed.
I think I'd like to keep the language as it is, kind of explains it a little better. Cause you're, like you said, a site triangle.
Sure.
Did you get that one? You okay with that, Kevin?
Yep.
6.4.10,
Change it to, it is prohibited to damage public trees or obstruct forester activities. Construction near public trees require protective measures and a permit.
any issues?
We require that already, right? As
Yeah.
part of every job.
Okay. 6.4.11,
Appeals against Forester's decision can be made to the village board within 7 days, with a hearing within 30 days. The board's decision will be final.
I like the language that says it's Title 4 of the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 68 of Wisconsin statutes. Because then you're citing the specific statute of the appeals.
Keep that in there.
I would like to keep that in there. That way you can reference to it if there's ever a question. If you want to put that additional language on there at the end, I'm fine with that.
So,
In replace of village board shall by letter notify, right?
yep. So stop at Wisconsin statute and just put in my comment.
Well, you got. The village board shall hear an appeal within 30 days of receipt of written notice of appeal, period. Then you say, then your language, appeals against forced decision can be made to the board within 7 days. Well, as is hearing within 30, okay.
After with stats, just go with my comment.
After hearing, the village board may reverse, affirm, or modify the order. But you have a 10-day. The village board shall by letter notify the party. Which the decision within 10 days after hearing has been concluded. Or, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So after Wisconsin statute period, and then your language?
Yep.
You get that?
Mhm.
Okay.
While we're cooking. That's it.
What's your motion? Or do you want me to make it?
I think. Once you make the motion, you probably remember better than I do. You go ahead and make it. I forgot what we tabled.
Move to approve the amendments made to section title 6, chapter 4. As presented and in section 4.2D, 4.2E. Six, 4, 6A. 6, 4, 7A. Six, 4, 7, elimination of H11 and 14 and renumerate accordingly. 6, 4, 10. A and 6, 4, 11 as amended. And table 6, 4, 3 and 6, 4, 3 A and B and 6, 4, 5 A until next month.
Second.
I'm not repeating that motion.
No,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That's done. Court survey results. Who's taking this one?
Well, I can. What pleases this committee, I can start and give you my thoughts.
Love to hear your thoughts. Are we gonna share on the? Put it up top or?
Oh, I'm not-
So the whole gang can see it or?
I was just gonna verbalize it, but I certainly can if you, I would
Pull
just
it
have
up on the
to.
screen.
I'd
Can I
have to,
post the results online?
well, it's not done yet.
Not yet. We will.
No, the survey results. We could post the survey results online, right?
We will.
Okay,
Oh,
because I know some people mentioned them already, so. That,
They asked for them, so I sent them to them.
okay,
so this is exclusive. You can only get it here.
so I can enter this meeting and then just, you know, they can see my memo then. But I was just gonna paraphrase it.
okay.
I like the graphs.
Meeting 7.
The graphs will be totally worth it.
Well, I wasn't gonna show the graphs, I was just gonna show.
No graphs? All right, then. Okay, well, don't worry about it. Just go
Is it,
with
is it bad to post, is it
Just let her
bad?
read. I wanted the
The
graphs.
results of the survey out, online, so at least we can say what. You know, show people what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. They said once they are done with it, they're gonna share it. Put it on Facebook, I'm sure, right?
It's, yeah, it's being merged into a format right now, so it's.
Okay,
Oh, let's see,
And it's,
Chuck, do you have to request to share?
so let's see, how do I request to share?
motion to move on to, 5, C until Chuck gets everything straightened around on that one. And then we can come back to it.
Randy Crone, second.
Motion made and seconded and move on to 5C, come back to 5B. Spring Park improvements, update dog park location. I have not had any, further, other than many people have exercising their opinions about the dog park, but I haven't seen anything further as to, where we're gonna be going or anything like that, in regards to a dog park. I do appreciate all the comments that we're getting from the community in regards to the dog park, and it looks like, if we could find space outside of town, that's where we'd be looking to, you know, go there if we would. There's still some unanswered questions by some of the citizens that we need to ponder as a committee, and that's, how do we pay for it? How do we, you know, all that kind of, stuff as well. But we do know there's several people, regardless of what position you're on this, if you're against it or for it, we know that there's gonna be a group of people that are gonna be either upset, because it's pretty close, like you said, 52 to 45. And there's also opinions of people in that survey that are from outside the village as well. So, you know, I don't know where they all played in their opinions on that, but, you know, it's a very split margin of the people that put it out there. So I think we just kind of table that until we can come up with a little better location or better ideas on it and move from there. If you guys are okay with that.
Right, from a second. Oh, is that a
Is that a
motion?
motion?
Yeah,
My comment is, for the public, and you guys can speak up if you disagree, but we have no interest as this committee, looking at any of the parks for dog park. So we've moved on from that as possibility. Just to set the public's mind at ease.
I agree with that. I mean, I would be, we did originally talk about it. We looked on the Granger, we looked at, you know, we said, well, we have something here, but I don't think that's gonna be in the cards.
no park left unturned.
We're flipping stones to try and find something.
If we can find land or something like that, there's a couple other options out there, but it's not gonna be any.
What I would suggest is looking at tip 5, because it's vastly undeveloped. And then we could strategically place a dog park there, we're gonna have some green space. And we can incorporate that at the time of conceptual master planning with that.
Cause the apartment people were already on board with having dog parks.
Private one.
Yeah. So that's what we can,
That kind of, yeah, I agree, is that, you know, if they're gonna put a private dog park in there, we should put a park, at least try to, you know, so I guess I could see where you're coming from on that one, Bob.
So that, you know, we're not just organically slapping something in. And, you know, then creating. You know, community issues with that.
Yep.
So my suggestion would be looking at tip 5 and, you know, that's like I said, vastly undeveloped right now, so it's property that we do own. We will have a substantial amount of green space up there. So,
And we'll be able to civilly plan.
right,
There's and that's actually in my memo that you'll be seeing shortly. Is, you know, it's, again, like Bob was alluding to, you know, there's that upper part, and then there's kind of that lower part that we were kind of thinking that with where the stormwater ponds would go, but you know, maybe that too, the whole thing doesn't need to be stormwater ponds, so.
My dog loves stormwater.
It's gotta have a bench, so we can wander in and take a drink, not fall in, right?
Right.
So,
I'm sure if something else comes up though, we're, you know, with that, you know, it'd be well worthwhile to look at. There has been some discussion with outside of the village as well in the township. There's potentials of possible land there as well, that possibly, and these are all early discussions. So having this conversation, having this kind of participation here is a good thing because it's generating, you know, collaboration of people trying to come together to do good, because some people agree, yeah, I'm not against the dog park, but not in my backyard. And some people are like, you know what, I agree with the dog park, and maybe we can put it out here where it won't be in his backyard. So hopefully that'll be the case in the future. It's just not gonna happen right away.
I can't share my screen, it just says a host has to say it.
sure.
How about now?
Again,
Sorry.
So we're gonna come back to B then, 5B, discussion on the corp survey results.
Right now.
Boom.
So
Shall we?
No,
Danny,
We had a
you
motion.
made a motion. There's
Yeah, I
no
was gonna,
second.
I was gonna say, did we get a second on that?
No,
Brandon.
I seconded.
Okay,
Oh.
I thought there was, but,
sorry.
so motion made, and seconded to table the discussion of the dog park with the understanding through discussion that it won't be at our current village parks.
Sounds great.
I like it.
Job done.
Any further discussion?
Only thing I have to say is I really hope our town gets us fired up about like getting a new village hall and a police station and a shop. As they do about a dog park, we need to be engaged. On the really, not that dog parks aren't important, but we need new water. We need a new water tower, all that stuff. I really hope to see all you guys engaged in that stuff as well.
So you'll all be here next month, right?
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay, motion carried. Back to 5B. Are you able?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, I'm up. So, just kind of quickly going through my memo here. You had 242 responses, and that's up from 51 from the last go round, so
Nice.
good job to all those people, Bob and company that got that survey and spread the word out there. 8% of the residents live in the village, 60 of them were there, have been here for more than 6 years. 69% rate parks as important, very important, or extremely important. So that's of the surveyor, you know, of the respondents, that's what it was. 3 parks include, including Larry Forest, veterans and village get the most use. I was surprised that more than 50% of the respondents visit Prairie Park more than 5 times a year. Primary reasons. Enjoy the outdoor, bike, walk, and use the playground. Amenities desired was trails, splash pads. Deb stole my thunder a little bit, but the trails, splash pads, indoor aquatic center and more playgrounds. And the dog parks and the pickleball were less desirable than I anticipated. But I'm not a dog guy, but I'm a pickleball guy, so. And slight majority want the park. Seniors and the people with disabilities are the groups most underserved. Respondents would like the village to invest and maintain existing park, to build major new facilities rather than acquire natural areas or develop additional parks. Consider reserving a portion of 10-5 for a future park and, somewhere down here.
Was that foreshadowing you just put out there?
So, the lift station will sit here, there'll be some storm ponds down here, but in my mind, as far as development or new businesses, it's not gonna happen down here.
What's the acreage on that? Can you get that to me?
The whole site was what, 20, including 25, including.
Well, I'm talking about the unused portion you're referencing to.
Oh,
Probably 20% of 50. 50 acres.
acres, maybe a little less, I guess, but. Current budgets appear sufficient for maintenance work, consider putting more money away for, these are my recommendations, by the way. Current budgets are sufficient for maintenance, consider putting more away for additional funds. For future project improvements. Consider posting and updating, village park map. Be updated with this corporate update. Probably at Village Hall, the website, standardize and install wayfinding signage. Consider standardizing and installing monitoring signage in all parks and natural areas. And consider focusing major and near-term efforts on Larry Forest Park, Veterans Park, and Village Park. And the one I probably forgot about was that, that trail from. Well, this was a park survey, not trails, but you know, kind of adjacent to that, and in the draft park plan that I forwarded to you at the 11th hour here. You know, kind of the highest need there is just that a trail connection from Meadows over to the downtown and, you know, across the tracks.
Yeah.
Not a
Costly endeavor.
significant cost, but that would be a nice connection to have.
We just moved the railroad tracks.
Yeah. They got more power.
They
than-
got a lot, I would say they got a lot more money than we do.
Money and power, they got more power than the government, so. So that's my brief overview of what I saw in the survey, and. You know, there's some graphs about, you know, how many people are using them and what percent of the respondents say they've been to this park or that park and things, so. It's
Feel like we under captured people going to Wood Ranger because I drive by that park every day. There's like at least 30 cars up there all the time.
yeah,
It's busy. But. You can walk.
Any other questions on the survey results? Good summary, Chuck. Yeah, appreciate that information and what you brought forward on them recommendations for potential dog park and the other things too, for that matter.
thank you.
Okay, no further questions. We're gonna move on to 5D, discussion possible recommendation, ball field use, Impact Sports Academy West. I put this on, well, this was on for last month. I think we had directed or in our discussions, Sean to go and talk to the associations to ensure that there was no conflicts with anything on that. And we did get some information from other municipalities as far as, and I think this is a good thing, that it kind of establishes not only a priority, but a cost schedule. As a committee had a chance to review that from the city of Hudson.
I took a peek at it today.
It offers the priorities, basically saying the associations would be priority, and then it would go to like the boosters, and then other nonprofits, and then it would be for profits after that. They got 7 priorities on it. I don't know if we need 7 priorities,
Yes, I mean,
but
we-
I think 3, 4, you know, I mean, so that at least the associations are being prioritized as number ones, and then the openings would be after that.
My question was, how is this enforced with respect to actual scheduling?
If you look at on the back here, under the high times, expect multiple teams scheduled first, they all schedule together, and then they got a cancellation policy of 72 hours on the back. So you can cancel 72 hours without being charged, but if it's less than 72 hours, with the exception of rain delays, there would be a charge for that time. All scheduling goes into effect, I believe, in the beginning of the year, March 1st, which we could tweak that. But maybe this would be something that we could look at as a working document and possibly come back with a recommendation after we've had a chance to review it, and maybe send it over to Sean to look at too, and the other associations to ensure that, you know, all their areas are being looked at as well.
I mean, I guess I would have to lean on those guys and see what they would need. I mean, if they
Right.
could figure out the schedule already, not really too worried, but having the fees on here would establish would be nice.
But I like the fee schedule setting up there where they have, you know, so much, based on each priority. And then if they had the lights on, there would be, that cost as well. So if you're working the lights, there's a cost that's not being borne on, per se, the taxpayers to fund that. But I'm open to that too, Bob, if you're, you know, open to put it aside to have it as a working document. We don't need to have anything today, but you could look at it and see if this meets your schedule along with the other associations, and maybe we could table this and circle back next month and get it put together so that you can lock in your dates for or you know, for the 4th of August, right? 3rd and 4th, right? Them 2 days. Oh, I'm sorry, but them dates were open anyways right now, right?
Yeah, they're open, and I did talk to Brady on the baseball side, and they have nothing planned. I talked to Cassie on the softball side, there's nothing planned until the following Monday. So neither association has anything going on during that time.
Okay. But this could be a working document going into 2025.
Correct, and just some feedback for the board too is the Tri-County and Metro Baseball League, in which both Somerset are a part of, generally speaking, that April 1st to 10th is when they're due to have their schedules done. So just that March 1st is a good date, but probably most associations aren't going to be until April timeline, just as a point of reference.
And I believe the associations also look at their fall scheduling as well, and I think there's some times, and that's why I want to get it to them. So they get a chance to look at this, and this could be a working document, so it all works well with our ball fields, not Hudson, right?
Yep, absolutely.
We okay with that?
What's your motion?
What's yours?
Table this for further review, right?
I'll second that motion. Motion made and seconded to table this for further review. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
All opposed, motion carried. Winds up punch list items. I put this on the agenda because I was called out by one of the residents asking about signs in the Winds app. And I noticed there was some significant water drainage into the ponds, the storm ponds and stuff like that. I took some photos and sent them out to Chuck and to Bob. Bob said that they were waiting on an agreement between the school. Now they got the agreement, and it sounds like the village is gonna be taking on that base, and that's gonna be dealt with by the village taking the line of credit monies and getting the work done by a contractor in the near future. So I put this on before this was all worked out because I wanted to have that discussion about it and also to ensure that we're getting some of that stuff taken care of. So I think going forward, are we able to purchase signs or as we have signs available or?
That'll all be included with all of that.
Yeah.
Contract will take care of all that.
Okay, is there something we could put up for the time being, though, temporarily, to just say that this is a dead end or something like that? So that we don't have people coming down there. I'm more concerned about safety, people coming down and just saying this is dead end street or anything like that, to deal with that.
Do the cops have a speed thing they can put out there? The little trailer that tells we have one of those anymore?
No, we could put something up temporarily.
That'd be great if we could do that. So we'll get some temp signs up and some no dead end street signs, so people aren't just down there, looking for their new house that they're gonna build, right?
Yep, not a problem.
Okay. Anything else to discuss on that punch list? Did you send the punch list out to us or is that something you guys are gonna work down and bring it back to the board at a later date?
No, it will revise it once work's completed.
Okay,
We'll have to go to public safety for the rock hunters, so can't do anything about that.
Vegas?
the one thing I'm gonna
Agate hunters,
The one thing I'm going to point out though on there is that right now they got no silt fence on one of the lots that they're currently grading. And that's why I was wondering when our ordinance went into effect, because they don't have a silt fence, it's just running right in. I'll have to dig that whole pond back out anyways. And they probably have to do that under your punch list, but you would think if they're currently building and they should have a silt fence, at least keep that washout, especially with the wettest spring since, what'd you say, 82?
I'll mention that to Tony.
Yeah.
He's going in church and look at that.
Thank you. Okay, new business. Identity theft, water prevention review. Looks like the only thing that was changed on here is the date. We reviewed it last year, we reviewed it this year. We have to update this on an annual basis.
Yes.
So
Brandon Crowe make a motion to approve the updated identity theft prevention program.
Oh, second.
motion made, seconded to update the program. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Discussion possible recommendation wastewater treatment facility improvements change order 7.
So this change order is for $42,412.66, and so that increases the original contract price was $4,067,000. You know, the final price will be $4,098,166. $4,098,144.66. So that's so overall, the project has increased by 0.8%. It includes the relocation of switches by the gas meter, a larger panel for the generator. There's some credit and change in paving. And, you know, additional paving was added, but there was a bust in the quantity where we overran the gravel, you know, fairly significantly. And, but I did check, you know, their bid was $21 a ton, and in looking at, or $22 a ton, and looking at some of the projects from last year, you were paying in it, you know, anywhere from $22 a ton to $62 a ton. So it's a good price. It was just a little quantity here.
So 37,000 was to do for the repaving, the additional bituminous and aggregate for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't an expansion of the project, it was just because it was needed.
There was, yes,
Essentially an error when they were
Yeah.
transferring over the quantities and.
Buck, are you responsible for double checking this?
no,
All right.
my professional signature isn't on the
A
bottom.
low level employee, I expect a low level employee to be in big trouble for this one.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of change orders you have heartburn over. I mean, this.
I just wanted to see you dance a little bit,
You
Chuck.
know, it's, you would have paid for it either way. If we had the quantity correct, it would have been.
Yeah, and we're substantially under for your guys' observation on this too, so there's gonna be a pretty significant price increase.
Gotta give you a little crap when you come in. Have money.
Motion made, seconded to approve change order number 7, $42,412.66. Is that coming out of the storm, the sewer?
Yeah,
Budget,
the utility.
utility budget? Okay.
Yeah, price, yeah.
Because we're over on budget on that one, right? So it comes out of, that's gonna come out of the budget, or is that coming out of just the utility itself? Okay,
Was there no, did
I made the motion.
Brandon, did I second?
No.
Brandon Crowe second. You knew.
Motion made and seconded to approve change order number 7, in amount of $42,412.66 from Stormwater Fund. All, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Discussing with recommendation retaining wall repair, Main Street, Spring Street and Depot Street. SCV Landscaping LLC presented a bid for $22,725 to fix the deteriorating infrastructure.
Is that something that's outside of the scope of the guys to be able to do?
They're gonna do some of it, or
We'll assist with the removal, but the placement of it is,
Is there something else we can do besides a retaining wall? Does it make sense to?
I mean.
Pour something there?
Support is. Very expensive.
It would be much more expensive.
And it's something that would be pretty invasive to a property owner, because you're gonna dig down below the frost line and you're, yes,
Yeah, probably have a footing.
you know, so,
we'll be able to pull this out of outlay.
outlay.
I'd like to get this, do we have a estimated time on getting this done, or?
I don't, Jim dealt with this, but I can check, but there's not a lot of landscapers that wanna mess with,
Right.
retaining wall anymore.
See
So, one of the few,
But that's right on Main Street. If you put a sign up, that's
yeah,
free advertising,
Right.
man.
Yep.
A lot of eyes.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the $22,725.90 bid to get this done as soon as we can. It'd be nice to get it done. I know we got some of them that are laying off on a site up by Spring and Cooter. like something hit there or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
stupid, that FedEx truck.
Run,
Twice,
run over it?
Same truck.
yes.
Well, do you know that's not a truck yet, Rod, anymore, or?
Frank, on second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the bid, estimate bid of $22,725.90. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Use UPS.
Yeah. Model ordinance utility easements. In your packet, you have a utility ordinance and a working and right-of-way permit application. I asked to put this on the agenda. I know that I've gotten several complaints. I'm sure everybody probably has received several complaints from individuals as far as the utility work that was done for putting in the fiber optics, and there's holes in certain areas. And I know, I feel your pain. We got it in our backyard too, rocks and everything. I'm still receding. Talked with Bob went to the city of New Richmond, got a working rate permit application. I think this is good just to kind of scratch their name off and put our name on. So that, and also included was some language for an ordinance in your packet. It's in the big print. You see that?
Well,
It's right here.
let's see. Just make it a
Yeah.
little bigger.
I could take my glasses off and read that one. So I would suggest that we adopt this language. If it doesn't conflict, it doesn't look like it does. I just, if we put it in the Public Works, ordinance language, or we recommend that to the full board for deliberation and approval, along with the working right-of-way permit application. So that way, if anybody is, do you see any heartburn on this at all with, just putting ours on, other than the $1 million, Bob? Other than the $1 million,
No,
did you want to change that?
it's up to you, they leave it like that, I
On purpose with fine.
I don't really have-
1 million.
But I think maybe that's something. The attorney can weigh in on, at the board meeting, if there's a question on it, or I can reach out and ask him, just real quick, come back with a response.
But my only concern was any of this is if it will hold up any, let's say we have an issue with, or an emergency situation. I didn't see a carve out in here, maybe I didn't really get a see anything in here for a carve out, like if there's an emergency situation, if we had to get in there, didn't have time to get a permit.
Well, if it's an emergency situation, they not notify, the Public Works anyways, right?
Yeah, they do.
And so that's the only way they would be able to start any work in the right of way. And that's when the permit would be issued, or the, you know,
And then I would suggest us waiving this, because if we have a ground fault somewhere, and they're gonna get in there right away, we don't wanna fix that.
right.
And do you have the right to waive, you have, so does like this give you the right to waive it?
We would just waive it, out of common sense. More or less, I don't need something in writing to say, go fix the problem, so people have power.
Okay. I just want, that's what I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to have this
Or
some
there's-
bureaucrat sitting here going, well, you can't do that. I mean, you got the permit.
Yeah.
Cause I agree.
Is it 10,000 enough for a surety bond, or is that something that we may want to look at? You know, depending on the side, I know he says 120 for, if you got sizable amounts in there,
Yeah, I think it goes by. The amount of work they're going to do,
but not to exceed 10,000.
right,
So
so
is that, that's,
$400 plus $60 a year, what? So, and then the deposit. Would be 120%.
I would say, should we raise that to 10,000 up?
Up to 10,000?
No, it says 120% not to exceed 10,000. My question is there any work on utilities that could drive for more than 10,000? Or is that surety bond at 10,000 enough to cover that?
I think it'd be.
Okay,
There's one other thing I see, I don't see in here.
there's always other recourses if they start ripping up sidewalk or some other things that.
Is there anyone in, oh, here we go, landscaping, okay. Yeah, that's the only spot, you only have that one spot for landscaping, that's the one I get the most, it's like they came up, they tore my yard.
Yeah.
I want my grass the way it was, it's like, so. I get that, we want it grass right away, however, you know, for them, if they put black dirt and seed down. I think that, you know, meets the requirements, I mean. The owner's gonna have to water that grass. I've had people be like, I'm not watering my grass, I'm like, well. I mean, you're gonna have to water your grass. So I think we just need to have some language in there about reasonable time for seeding, maybe, or something like that, maybe pop that in C there. Say like they'll put down black dirt and seed it. Work that into seeding. Cause I think that's what the most, and that's what you're gonna get complaints about the most. Someone gets their yard tore up, it's not fixed. That's what,
Well, that and they go in and they go on the easement and they rip up their blacktop driveway. That was one of the person had a complaint, they come in and they spun on their brand new blacktop driveway and marred it all up, and he's like, what am I supposed to do about this? Well, there's nothing we can do about it at this point in time, because we don't have that, that's why I was wondering if that 10,000 is, you know, do they come back and they say, hey, you were spinning right on the easement with their, you know, with their skid steer, and now they marred the hell out of my blacktop driveway, who's gonna pay for that? You know, so I hear what you're saying about the seating, but you know, that's why we're putting something forward here. If you wanna put something in or bring forth maybe a change or modification.
yeah, I'll
Meeting, but I would be willing to, I'll make a motion to recommend this to the full board for adoption. And if you want to put an amendment on it,
before the full board.
on the full board.
Sneak that in there, okay, that'd be perfect. I will add my.
I'm concerned about the 10,000 on that sure, you know, I mean, if you do it blacktop.
Yeah, that's if they're not gonna correct the problem, and, you know, these contractors have to come back to this community, so. You know, we're basically chasing them because they're leaving rocks and people are hitting them with their lawnmowers or picking them out.
Right.
And, you know, or you got these big dips because they get compacted, now there's.
Right,
some
sinkholes
issues.
or whatever, yeah.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion to amend, recommend, this language and, the, right-of-way permit application for adoption at the, a board meeting next week with the amendment. With the amendment from, 500,000 under, 3 to 1 million. For current. Motion made and seconded to recommend that. You pop that addendum in at the village board meeting. I'm sure that'll be taken care of. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carried. New business E, discussion drainage ponds. There's been some extensive discussion with ponds. I was at the meeting when the public comment was made about them saying that shelf is not there. And at the school board meeting, my question is, if a shelf would be eroded, would that go into the pond and then out and into, because there's an overflow that comes in the Larry Forest pond from that pond, right?
The way ponds are designed is they have dead storage below the outlet. You know, to collect sediment and those sorts of things. So if the bench is eroded, it would have just been in the, it would have sloughed into the dead storage, not necessarily out the end of your pipe.
Okay. Because
It's
Larry Forest,
possible, but I highly doubt it.
Larry Forest is still brown from when they fixed that, because it overflowed. We got 3 inches of rain and it all went into Larry Forest. And I went over and took photos of it. I'm like, wow, this is all brown. I wonder how much of that is gonna set them, you know, I mean, we gotta commit a bid for how much to redo them ponds.
$100,000.
And, well, yeah, but I think it was like 20,000 for Larry Forest, wasn't it? So
For all of
if their sediment is there a possibility of that sediment coming from that pond that we have no jurisdiction on. Overflowing and running into our ponds, which we have to clean. That's my question.
Well, in theory, that dirty water, I mean, I wouldn't think it would be a significant amount. Or it would have clogged up the pipe, I don't know how easy it is to go review those pipes to see if there's sediment in those pipes and things like that. That would be evidence to me. Otherwise, it would just be,
Well, over the last two, I mean, this has happened a couple of times where they did the first drainage pond.
yeah,
And now they redid it again. And I'm not, I just wanna make sure that that stuff isn't flowing in from someplace that we have no control over. Now we gotta pay to clean it up.
it would, how accessible are those, is the downstream pipe of that pond?
Easy.
Just pop it open and see if there's sediment. If there's a bunch of sediment that needs to be cleaned up, then I would have a discussion with the school. Saying,
We'd like to know that. That's the case.
I highly doubt it, but,
Yeah,
it's possible.
if there's no, but if
It's a
there
valid
is,
concern, we should look,
if there is, then I think it's worthy of a
Yep.
discussion back.
and a
at
further
this.
investigation, for sure.
We can take a look at it. Thank you. Anything else on that? Okay,
Yeah,
uh,
10 minutes.
yeah,
The one thing, Donnie, I would mention that, if, the village could consider updating their stormwater ordinances to address current practices, modeling, freeboard, with the benches and some of those things if you'd like. I mean, that's something maybe on your future to-do list. Probably hasn't been looked at in a long time. And it could be updated, right
we're
now.
looking at revising all of our ordinances right now. Maybe we would wanna take a look at that at some point in time in our, I'm just making.
But that would probably require, a professional, and you would incur some dollars, that's the only.
To change an ordinance or.
So, yeah, to review it, to make sure that, the latest and greatest.
Or we go to-
DNR requirements and, some
New
of those
Richmond
things.
might have something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it close, but
Okay,
that's the only comment I wanted to make.
Yeah, there's different tiers of stormwater classification and.
Right.
By your municipality size.
Sure.
There's some requirements Richmond has to do,
Yeah.
some that we have to do. But all communities, that stormwater coalition that we were a part of, we all agreed that, we would, because we're dumping into mostly the same tributaries, that we would honor the practices and, best management.
Okay.
Practice too, so.
Basically, MS4 requirements, but not the reporting, which is the big burden part of it, because you don't have to yet.
and I don't think we need to have that.
Yes.
But I mean, as long as we have those things in place so that we can protect the municipality
Yeah.
from those kind of encroachments, right? Is there any additional stormwater or anything coming out of those ponds over in Wine Zap into any of the current ponds right now?
All their lock basins.
They're all locked? Okay. Okay. I know we had 10 minutes, but I think we can do it. I think so. Public Works Department report. Everybody got a chance to see the building, the Larry Forest is redder than red,
See, that looks great.
yeah. That's like the Somerset, Spartan Town.
Spartan Ridge.
Any questions on any of this stuff?
Nope, it's good to me.
Good thing we got that bleacher fall protection in prior to pea soup days. That was a good move on that. Thank you for getting that done.
Yeah.
Are they gonna start the work over here then?
Once it comes in, yeah.
Yep, okay. Budget reports. Public Works, budget reports, parks bills.
I've had a chance to review everything and everything seems to be in order. I would make a motion to approve, the bills.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the water and sewer park bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay? That motion is carried. Future agenda items? I think we already talked about that. We got some stuff on there, but is there anything else that needs to come before,
I can pick up.
is there some discussion about possibly, are we gonna need to meet next month? Cause we're talking about that, the dates of how it falls around the 4th of July and everything. I think we need to look at that.
I think Paige is gonna put that on the board meeting.
Okay, but are we, do we have to talk about it all here?
It's not on the agenda.
No, I mean, for future, is that,
Well, that would be after.
yeah.
Yeah.
We, future agenda items, August meeting,
Right.
okay.
Brandon Crowe make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all for coming up.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate your time.
So that's all right.